So let's say you've done some bass experimentation with all the instruments provided in FL Studio and you want to graduate to drum kits and sample packs that you can download just about anywhere. So in this video I'm going to show you the basics of sampling, how to essentially put it into your playlist, and how to slice it up or use the Fruity Love filter and sort of talk about sample chopping. So the first thing you're going to want to do, of course, is make its own pattern in the playlist. So just call it sample, make it whatever color you want for the sake of organization. And for this video, a sample I had found, I'm just going to use this one. So I'll drag that right into the channel rack and just put it in there. And now you can drag the sample right in and listen to it play. But first, you want to make sure that when you put something into the playlist, you switch up here from playing just the pattern to playing the song. So that's how you put a sample into your playlist. Now what I want to do is sort of show all the different things you can do with it, or a good amount of them. You can, of course, like any other instrument, you can mess with the volume, the length, in, out, crossfade, trim, all of the sort of equalizer things. And for the sample, in the top left, right next to the name, when you click on it, there's the drop down menu, and on channel, you go to sample, and you can go to open a new Fruity Slicer channel. And if you look here, it makes its own channel, so you can get rid of this and sort of see how this works. All the red bars here are essentially slices that the sample automatically sets. But what you can also do is you can switch it to every beat, every half beat, all the way to every sixth beat, which makes for a lot of slicing and is really hard to, it's very advanced to work with. There's also dull, medium, and sharp, but the issue with that sometimes is those are like automatically put into the sample and they're not that easy to work with. So just as an example, I'm going to experiment with putting it on every beat. And if you look into the piano roll, you can see sort of it splits into 24 beats. And every beat is a different note. This bit is sort of where the individual creative mind comes into play, but as an example, I'm going to show you guys how I would probably chop this beat, like very quickly. So what I hear in the beginning of this, I like the instrumentation, but it goes too slow for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this sort of middle part, go to the highlighter, take these 4 notes, and drag them along to sync up with, to come in right after the end of the second beat. And what I'm going to do with that, I'm actually going to highlight these, copy and paste, and sort of just loop it and see how I feel about it. Make sure I get these out of the way. Delete all of these. And so for example, let me hear it run. And you can essentially work with that however you want, but this is an example of how to work Fruity Slicer. You can also actually chop it yourself. If you go into the Fruity Slicer channel and you see this, I'm gonna go to no slicing. If I kind of just let it play, it's very hard to find out exactly where, but you can split slices like that. You can right click on a specific part and split it there. And work with that however you want. Another thing you can do with samples is, it's not here, but the Fruity Love filter is another thing that you can work with, right? If you look it up, find it right here. Let's see. Yeah, you drag it in, and it sounds essentially muffled at first, but there are a lot of presets that you can work with. I'm just going to play the sample through and mess with the different presets so you can get an idea of what these sound like, but you can, of course, adjust these for yourself when you get more experience. And that's just a few examples. One thing I do want to show though is how I use the Fruity Love filter in the slicer in one of my works. So let me find it. If I go into, okay, I have it somewhere that I just sent to myself. And here it is. Okay. So I'll open it right here. And this is a track that it's a very rough draft, but it's an example of what you can do with the Fruity Love filter. Essentially, what I did was I sort of had it fade in to the track, and then I chopped it using Fruity Slicer. You can hear it for yourself. That's the example and a demonstration on essentially how to work Fruity Love filter and the Fruity Slicer, and just basically the basics of sampling.